That light's still too bright. There we go. It's a little better. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How's the video? How's the sound? Better than good. It's great. It's spectacular. How's everybody doing this fine morning? How many cups of coffee is everybody on? How many cups of coffee? I'm on cup two tea, though. I haven't been drinking coffee. 2 cups, 3 cups, 1 cup. Whether if you have 0, 1, 2, 10, 20, let me know. If you don't consume your cups of coffee and, if you don't consume your coffee in cups, but in pots, let me know too. Or if you're drinking some other tasty beverage of choice, your morning routine. Just woke up. It's too late to be waking up. You got to get up early, right? That's how this stuff works. Eat the cup too. I guess that depends on what kind of cups you have. I think they have edible cups. No, something like that. Make cups made out of like cookies or some hard biscuit or something like that, right? Something along those lines. You never sleep in like this. Well, you don't want to get in the habit of sleeping in. That's not good. I've gotten to that point where I go to sleep early instead of sleeping in mostly. I have a hard time, and my cats don't let me. They're like, no, you're not sleeping in because my stomach is telling me you need to feed me. So I don't really have too much of an option. My cats eventually make sure of that. So everybody, today, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about fun stuff. Frozen, a frozen diet Pepsi in the morning. Did you like put your like Pepsi in the freezer or something? Or is it one of those situations where you had it in the wrong spot in the fridge and the fridge right where it's supposed to be cooling down everything actually froze it? That happened to me not that long ago, where I had seltzer water right beside where the cold air comes in. We have an older refrigerator. Keep it frozen. All right. All right. Let's get let's get rocking and rolling, everybody. Today, actually, I want to know here who's here joining us for the first time. I'm going to go over a couple things real quick. Who's joining us for the first time? If it's your first time here, say me. If you're shy, say I. White Al's always here for the first time. It is so interesting. Do you have like short-term memory loss? Like you instantly lose your memory every time. So it's like being here for the first time every time. I mean, I guess that's fun, right? Debbie Lee store. Stick around, Debbie. I'm gonna have Debbie come on. I want to talk to Debbie about a purchase they made and a couple of things. But um, if nobody here is joining us for the first time, well, in case you're too shy to even say I'm just gonna let you know we talk about or I talk about in this fine Sunday morning, or pretty much every Sunday morning. Talk about pretty much strategies, business style, selling here and whatnot. Okay, I don't talk about technicals. I can't tell you or won't go over how to set up shipping profiles, how to set up, the back end stuff on whatnot. I would highly recommend, instead of getting that information from people. I mean, it's helpful. There are plenty of other chat shows on here that can help you out with that, but do a lot of research on your own as far as going through the help uh, options that whatnot provides. They got videos, they got details, all that fun stuff. And I'm always a big advocate of self knowledge. Meaning, you go do self research, you do it yourself, you're going to learn a lot of other things along the way. I know everyone's looking for a shortcut, but trust me, the best shortcut is peripheral knowledge. You end up learning a lot that becomes useful to you in the future. So you're not constantly needing to ask a different person for a different answer of a question, and you're spending all this time trying to dig it out when you could have probably found it on your own, and half the information for future questions are realized as a result. Good morning. I am discussing dollar starts. I was getting there, Sapphire. So here's the deal. I'm going to talk about dollar starts. Not only am I going to talk about dollar starts, I'm going to talk about a simple strategy you can start actually exercising for those that want to incorporate dollar starts into their business. Now, my question here: how many people do dollar starts that are here at Sell and whatnot? And this is primarily a show where I talk to sellers. Okay. I mean, if you, the next question is going to be who here does not do dollar starts? I love discounts. That's just, yeah, nope. All right. Who here does not? Yeah. I just need a simple yes or no will do. That's fine with me. Do not, you do $3 starts. Okay. All right. Well, here's the thing. I mean, I'm in the, if you've listened to me talk at all about the principles of endowment effect and other opportunities that provided by dollar starts, if you're already doing $3 starts, you know, my thoughts are why are you not just doing dollar stars? But anyway, let's go into this situation. Now, a lot of people, I'm just going to give the default answer that most people give for not doing dollar starts, and let me know if this sounds familiar or if this goes to your brain as far as dollar starts are concerned. I don't do dollar starts because I'm not big enough yet. I don't have the room count. I don't have the buyers. I don't have the followers. I'm not something that has to do with large enough in one regard or another based on your personal opinion of what that metric is. It's either followers, buyers, or room count are usually the ones that I hear as a reason. Who here is familiar with that being the statement when it comes to not doing dollar starts? All right. Yeah, yeah. I'm just going to say you do. That's the main reason. I mean that's the bottom line reason that most people give. I can't do it because I'm not in the spot to do it, and those are the reasons why I consider myself not in the spot. We're gonna go to the and trust me, I'm gonna already head this off the pass. Okay, I'm talking about the rule. I'm not talking about exceptions. Simply the rule. The rule means the majority of people in the situations that I'm talking about. Okay, so when I say what is perceived as successful on here is either room count, followers, and sales numbers. Okay, so the people that are measured by that success rate, the majority of those people are doing what? What are they doing? What are they doing for their start prices? Majority of people that are deemed successful in here are doing what for their start prices? It's not even set prices, Seth. All right, go around, look at the largest room counts everywhere. What are they doing? The absolute top room count, top sales numbers, fastest selling numbers, all the same as a dollar start. 100% is a dollar start. Set prices across the board is a way to start getting to it. Okay, all right. So dollar starts, okay, and giveaway. Yeah, I love discounts. You're funny. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you. I love discounts about that. Um, that they all have that ingrained. But let's be real about that too. I love discounts. Are they paying for their giveaways? Are the absolute largest rooms paying for their giveaways? I already answered no. They're not. So the effectiveness of their giveaways that's why you don't they don't need to bother worrying about the disadvantages of the giveaways. All they have is up value. So if there's a fractional value, no matter how fractional, they're getting it for free and actually making money off of it very frequently. So we're going to get past that. Thank you for the diversion in topic, but we're going to make clarifying statements when it comes to that. So here's the deal. Tony made mention of this in our podcast. You know, if you are interested, go check that out. Reselling Roundtable, which will be on later this evening, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. But let's put this as simply as I possibly can. All right. Successful sellers do not adopt dollar starts because they become large. They become large because they adopt dollar starts. So let's walk through a hypothetical situation. If you're not doing dollar starts, okay, you're not doing dollar starts, and you become a large successful seller, or these successful sellers waited till they got successful before they decided to adopt dollar starts. Why would they switch to dollar starts? What would be the purpose of switching to dollar starts? The answer is there wouldn't be. There'd be no reason for you to switch to dollar starts if you're already successful with the higher start prices. When following the logic, it's not hard logic to follow. If you were not doing dollar starts, you became successful. Why would you do it? So let's just go the whole way through the entire thought process here. If you're thinking, I got to get a bigger room in order to do dollar starts, it's not the case. You got to do dollar starts to get a bigger room for to be considered more successful. And think through that entirely. What I just said. If they managed to get successful to the point where they could do dollar starts, why would they bother? Which then would stipulate that everybody that is successful in here wouldn't be doing dollar starts, right? Anyone follow? Are we connecting the puzzle pieces here? Yes? No? Are we? And if you have questions or comments about it, please wait till I open up the floor for that because I'll be just rambling on about what I have to say, and then we're more than happy to talk about it later. It's not hard to understand. Okay. And again, we're dealing with the rule, not the exception. All the principle I'm talking about is the rule, perspective, observation, and understanding, not the exception. There's always exceptions, which exceptions are way harder to attain than following the rule. Right? You got to understand that too. Pretty simple philosophy to follow. So, how do we get to dollar starts? How do we get to dollar starts? Well, we're going to go over a little attribute here, little two-step process that I'm going to suggest to everybody in order to adopt the principle of potentially doing dollar starts. Anybody interested? Are we interested in hearing a simple plan of action in order to incorporate dollar starts in your business? Yes. Okay. Spectacular. Spectacular. First thing first, everybody, mindset. We got to understand that this selling platform is not the same as other selling platforms. I talked about this on Thursday. One of the core principles of this, actually, not even a principle, it's an ingrained attribute to selling on a platform like Whatnot. Doesn't matter what type of live selling platform. There is more to it to be successful, to get traction. It is not a romp appeal, set it and forget it. Okay. Um, you can't just go on passively. Okay, this is not a passive platform. Kind of like that term. That's really hopefully sinks in. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not a passive platform. Other platforms with static or optic based listings, you can just list an item, set it, and forget it. That's the Ron Popeil. Anybody know what I'm talking about? The old school Ron Popeil commercials. You set it and forget it. Big selling attribute. That is not the case here. This on here requires you to invest. You are, no matter what you're doing. And here's what you have to understand: no matter what attribute you're doing on here, if your main goal is to sell, okay, if your main goal is to sell, and that's a whole nother topic about your goals on here or what you're trying to achieve on here. But the main reason people come on this app is to sell, to make money. Okay. That is the number one, again, rules, not exceptions. Number one reason people come on here is to eventually become successful in selling and make some extra money. All right. So you come on here to make money. But since you're essentially needing to build some type of structural business on here, unlike other platforms, you can literally just go on, list your items. Yes, I understand you can do that on here as well, but parallel, if that was your goal, unfortunately, this is not the platform that is built to get the most money out of the most dollars out of a static sale as other platforms. Other platforms actually retain higher values for you, so there's no reason for that to be your business model on here. The business model where people argue that they'll utilize their shop and or their bin is in conjunction with their success that they potentially get as a result of the live selling attribute. So let's get back to it. So now we get to the mental attributes. What does starting a business require? What do you need to have before you start any type of business? Money. Correct. You need money. You need money allocated. You need money set aside. You need money that you're going to utilize for business structured principles. Are we all following? Do we all understand? Again, it's not a hard concept. And you have to realize this is required and essential in order to succeed on a platform like this. Okay. So, where do we spend our money? We spend our money where it is best suited to create the best amount of value for growth for future success on here. So people get things mentally confused. Okay. They start their association to the product that they're selling is based on static listing principles of I bought it for this much, I sell it for this much. This is not the same. When you're starting out on here, you buy it for this much and sell it for this much, but the point at which you sell it has so many other attributes associated to it. It ties to your future growth. And what I mean by that is things like deals that you give as a result of selling merchandise for under what is perceived value based, opportunity for deals, perceived value base, along with a laundry list of other things that everyone here can sit down and recognize and understand that if I sell things on here, it is not. You have to create part of an experiential environment, what I call the X commerce now, that creates value as you go. So what that means is your resources. Okay. When I say money, I'm mostly talking about resources, time, space, and money, very closely tied. But obviously, time is the ultimate of all of them. So what you want to do is be as effective as you can in the shortest amount of time. So when you're out there trying to spend tons of time trying to build your business utilizing high start prices, you're actually elongating the amount of time it's going to take you to realize what's really going to provide you the success and elongating the time towards creating that success. Dollar starts are extremely essential based on the comparison model that your brain goes through on this platform itself, because the perceived success and the perceived desire of buyers is to be in dollar start rooms. You take I've heard many people, Tony from I Love Discounts being one of them, if they go in a room and they're not doing dollar starts, they're out. And that is mentality that is built on here. So trying to break through that mentality and as whatnot keeps bringing more and more people on, that is going to be the ingrained natural base mentality of everybody. So becoming a dollar start seller, every day that goes past is going to be more and more essential to your success on here, because you're cheap. No, not a cheapskate. You're a what everybody is, looking for an opportunity to add value to their own personal life, and dollar starts provide that opportunity. Simple. Okay. Everybody. Everybody. So whether you're a collector and you're trying to buy something, you're hoping to get it for as cheap as possible. Whether you are a dealer trying to buy it for resale value, you're going to try to get it for as cheap as possible. The way you can present an item in its cheapest potential is at a dollar start. We all following so far? Pulse check. We all following? We understand what's going on here? Okay, spectacular. That's awesome. Glad to hear it. Oh, let's talk about high end designers. You notice high end designers, the numbers, what not spit out themselves. High end designers have the highest rate of not doing dollar starts. And you know what they have the lowest rate of? Conversion. We'll leave it at that. You can draw your own conclusions to that, but that's a pretty simple conclusion if you look at the broad category of the entirety of whatnot. Okay. Who cares if they have expansive growth, but if the conversion rate is minimal in comparison to every other platform? I mean, not platform, but every other category. That tells a tale right there. Okay. And they start higher. Anyway, let's get back to it. Now, what that means. Yeah, well, yep, Sapphire, you have to dig into that. You guys can ask future numbers, but that's from the mouth. That's from the horse's mouth. It's directly from whatnot. You can go research that if you so desire. So all points lead to the same thing, and they'll realize that, and they'll get to it. They will. Trust me. I bet a substantial amount of money. They'll the revelations and understanding and realization that that's the natural track that has to go. That's where they'll end up. So all right. I appreciate the comment. So let's get to it. Let's get back to it. So we're talking about the act the need to build a business on here, not just a set it and forget it mentality. That is not the case, and that's what you're bringing. So what I'm trying to get at here is you're going to have to take a situation where you're looking at things in a different perspective. So my challenge to everybody is actually a pretty simple challenge. It's Some people are going to say they can't adopt this. Other people are going to say, well, I can adopt this. Certain product categories are going to be able to adopt it easier than others, but it is an adoptable attribute. You might have to get your gray matter pumping in the creative sense in order to utilize this uh, option or opportunity. First, you need to understand what you're going to do is you're going to go out. You're going to first decide, I'm starting a business. I'm not going to be able to, the numbers going to be different for each person. I'm going to set aside X amount of capital. Okay. This capital is going to be viewed as growth capital, advertising capital, marketing capital. Me, I generically would utilize it in my brain as growth capital. All right. And you're going to go out and you're going to use it to buy merchandise. You're out and buy merchandise. With that, you're going to make sure you buy enough merchandise to have what would be what you would consider a viable amount to have a full sale. Okay. This is your first step. Is everybody following me? Everybody understand? No style, AK. That's not what I said at all. Ask me questions later. No, no, no. Don't read into it. I'm just saying where things are going to head. All right. So you're going to take an allotment of capital that you have to invest in your business. You're going to go out and buy merchandise. Okay. And then this is going to allow you to prevent certain attributes happening to you when you're selling. What causes a lot of downfall to the dollar start is your association to what you paid for the item and not making a profit. You are already considering this an advertising or a marketing expense or a business expense, meaning that it is already understood that you're willing to just lose what's necessary to help your business grow in the future. So you have a different core principle based on the merchandise, allowing you to work around what is called the loss aversion principle, which is the biggest principle that affects you as a seller. A loss, and we say this all the time, mentally affects you, or well, it affects you twice as much as a gain. So a loss feels twice as bad as a gain feels good. So whenever you're selling something and you end up losing out on it, that hurts you more than if you gain. So for every dollar you lose, it feels like losing $2 essentially. And for every dollar you gain, it feels like you gained a dollar. That makes sense. Everyone understand? That's what the principles of loss aversion dictate. So that's why a couple dollar loss feels so drastic and so demoralizing and affects you, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy in the downward spiral in your shows, which we've already covered how you can't let that happen because it will. Mood changes, inflection in your voice changes, all to the negative, and all that changes to the negative causes more negativity, which causes more lost value. Having a different perspective on it, understanding that that's how you're going about it is going to help shortcut that. Okay. So, are we following so far? This isn't a really complicated process. I'm making this as simple as possible. I'm trying not to load it full of technicals, not trying to load it full of different behavioral principles. Okay. There's a ton ingrained in this. Okay. There is a lot, but I'm not going to lose focus here, which I can easily do by going down all those trails. We can dissect it at a later date if we ever want to, but we're going to keep it simple. Okay. So you go out and you buy your merchandise. All right. Once I tell you how the step two goes and how you're going to actually sell this merchandise and whatnot, this will also help you determine what kind of merchandise you want to go buy to do this. All right. You're going to set up a sale. First, you're going to set up a sale for the future, and you're going to let everybody know you're going to be doing a dollar start show. That's the first thing you're going to do. You're going to set it out to the future. All right. You're not going to just up and do this out of the blue and not let people know that come into your room. And or put it in your show notes, so on and so forth, uh, in order to basically advertise this during your other time. One of your other resources will be some additional marketing resources that you expelled during your current shows that you have set up already. Which, if you don't have shows set up, then you need to make sure you set up shows for the future. Very, very important. Okay, you're going to set up your show. It's going to be very simple. You're going to have one of two things. You're going to have generic listings, and I'm not going to go into a laundry list of why generic is the core principle here. This is going to help you with a lot of this stuff. Generic listings, we're going to create the most friction-free opportunity for your buyers to have to help you grow your business. The generic listings are going to start at $1, and they're going to have a uniform shipping costs. Okay, so whatever you need to source to make yourself comfortable with that is what you're going to source. Okay, I'm not painting the full picture. I'm giving you guidelines. Okay, it's like one of these, those paint by number things. I'm going to give you the paint by number picture, and you're going to need to fill in all the little spots. Okay. Generic listings, dollar start, and then you're going to utilize a shipping profile that's the same for all your merchandise. Does anybody understand what I'm saying? Do you understand? Do I need to explain that a little further? If you don't, just say no, I don't understand, and I'll explain a little bit further. Put an N in the chat if you don't understand. Okay. Now, here's the thing that's going to allow for more opportunity. You already know that you're potentially going to sell every single item for $1. And let me put a little caveat to all that. Don't go out and buy dollar items. This is not where you go out and buy dollar items. We're talking about building your business and advertising. I'm not telling you to go out and buy overly expensive items either. You need to go buy stuff that has some, if you've been selling long enough or been watching other people sell for long enough to know what generally will bring 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, $15, maybe not in your room, but in other rooms. You understand what I'm saying? Don't go out and buy dollar store uh, uh, centric stuff. All right. And that's the other thing that happens all the time. When people try dollar starts, they decide to sell their bottom of their barrel stuff and then wonder why everything sold for $1 and it didn't help their business. We understand. Plus, when I explain to you how you're going to sell your merchandise. So I'm going to tell you, you're going to use a 3-tiered methodology for your inventory as well. The 3 tiers, you have your tier 1 stuff, tier 2 stuff, tier 3 stuff. Let's keep it simple. You're going to have your inventory mix 20% of the tier 3, which is your lowest. You're going to have 60% of your what you would consider mid-grade, your tier 2, and tier 1 20%. So it's a 20-60-20. Just to keep it simple. If you want to alter that, change it, that's up to you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes? No? Okay. I'm just doing pulse checks so you understand. Okay. All right. Spectacular. You know your product lines. You know what you like to buy. You know what you like to sell. You should know what's considered, uh, you know, low, medium, and high. And I'm not talking just, you can equate that however you want, whether that's a dollar amount, whether that's visual appeal perspectives, whatever that is. But usually the benchmark is going to be dollar amount. That's the easiest correlation to the quality of the item, what you feel. Now we're going to keep this simple. All right, you're going to do what I call choice. People do not effectively use this early on in their sales styles and strategies nearly enough. It's not something I believe you will adopt on a regular basis, on a consistent basis. But as far as helping, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is one of the things we adopted early on to help kickstart and get familiar and comfortable with things. Choice sales. Does everybody know what I mean by choice sales? No, good. We got to know. No. Okay. Perfect. I'm glad we have no's because there's a lot of people that don't adopt it and don't understand this. Choice sales is a pick one. Winner chooses. Winner choice. Winner chooses the item. Okay. So you're going to have the description of your item is going to say winner chooses one or winner picks, however you want to word that in your description of your item. And here is a colossal benefit to this. Okay, I talk about the cheerleader effect, how you have multiple items in the screen in order to attract more people. The goal here, again, let's go back a little bit. When you're trying to grow, I talked about this on I think it was Thursday night. You got to go look at your metrics and realize how many people have come into your room and left. In and out, in and out, in and out. People are always rotating into your room. Your goal is to keep people in your room. How do you keep people in your room? Items of interest is one key aspect. Now, do you think you're going to hit more people that have interest in your items if you have one item or six items on your screen? Answer the question. I know I lead that. I'm trying to make sure we're keeping this simple. Absolutely. If you have six items in your screen, you're going to cast a wider net. My suggestion is six items. If you can deal in larger items and can't have six, two is fine. The concept here is when you have a fewer amount of people in your room, you need to create more bitter competition, right? Basically, you're trying to create bitter competition. You view more people in your room as bidding competition. Well, how about we flip that around and make them compete over more items? We have overlap competition. How do you get overlap competition with a fewer uh, crowd, with a smaller crowd? Choice. So once you have choice A, choice C, you have somebody bidding on choice A and somebody else bidding on choice C. So now you don't need as many people wanting choice A. If you were just showing that one item, you got overlap competition, what I also call value overlap. That is an extremely simple, underutilized principle, which gives you essentially the effect of more people in your room than what you really have. It is super effective, super valuable to people with low room counts. And not only that, if you have multiple items showing on the screen, you're going to catch more people's interest. You know what else is going to catch more people's interest? Dollar starts, simple shipping, simple and understandable. We are trying to create a friction free environment. Now, when I tell you to utilize the 80/20, not 80/20, the 20/60/20 rule, the beauty is you're going to have a pile of merchandise. Whenever something sells, you get to pull it out. And and you get to take advantage of the principle that I talk about of arbitrary coherence. You can ask questions later, and then I'll answer those. All right. Please reserve that question about simple shipping. I'll go over that. And you can also watch this back if you missed the beginning on YouTube. Um, but I'll go over everything again. We'll do a breakdown again when I'm done talking about it. So they come in, you have multiple items. Arbitrary coherence is a principle of what one item sold for helps increase the value of the potential next item that sells. Numbers before affect numbers after. You have this flying in simple forms and complex forms all over the place with utilizing a choice option principle. You also can stack if you want. Tony, you guys still do this with your earrings, right? You stack value with choice, right? Yeah. So stacking value, here's how that principle works. You can tell people verbally if things are going. You know your numbers, you know what you need on average out of your items. You can tell people as you see the bids going, you can tell people, hey, if you get to this amount, you get to choose two. You can take that as far as you want with the items out. You can compound the value. And I'm going to tell you right now, when someone's at, let's say, $12 for an item, and you say, hey, if you get to 15 bucks, you get to choose two. And then suddenly, what happens? I'll fill in the blank for you. The bids go up. You get to the $15 and then some. What would you say, Tony, your percentage when somebody gets close to being able to choose two and you shout that out? Personally, my personal thing that I would do is not let people know that ahead of time. You utilize that as a tool throughout the show, based on how well your show's going. That's me, and that's what I would do until you get the concept down. Does everybody understand what I'm talking about there with utilizing the stacking principle? Okay, yeah. So, I mean, you can go to choosing three. You can go to clearing the board. Like, hey, if you get to $50, you can have all the items out there. All right. It's a way to escalate and increase value. Okay. Choice option. Again, my suggestion is you don't want to fall into the trap then of potential choice overload with centralized choice being that you just have, I don't suggest you go any more than 8. My true sweet spot, in my personal opinion, is 6. Okay. 4 to 6 is the max capacity of anyone's brain usually to hold information. It's actually 4, but with a picture visualization like that, 6 is not a stretch for you to be able to handle. It's like 4 to 7, so 6 fits right in between there. More than 6 takes too much time to set up. Well, yeah, yeah. Um, so as items sell, you can decide. So let's say a certain item style or a certain color or something like that sold, you can still utilize arbitrary coherence, decide based on what that sold for or what the item was that sold, and you can mirror that. You can grab something that mirrors, or you can draw some type of coherence to, some type of parallel to something you can sell about it, whether it's the color, whether it's the era of the item, whether it's the style of the item, whatever it is, whether it's the value of the item, you can bring it over, make some key references towards that to create the coherence, put it in the empty spot, and run the next auction. It also allows you to continuously run items without asking, what do you want? It gives people the opportunity to feel that they have some choice in the matter, and also gives you the true control over the entirety of the situation. You're controlling the sale and they have some options and choices, which is a mutually beneficial principle to selling, where as you grow, it becomes more that you're just solely in control and want to be in control, but it still gives you the control, but gives them an option and eliminates that. So, does anybody want anything? What do you want next? What do you want next? Anybody see anything they like? If you're doing that, people are out of your show like that. In, out, in, out. Who here sticks around for those type of shows? And don't forget, if you have that type of show, the only people who are sticking around are ones that are going to wait for the opportunity that they know that they can ask you to run an item that is going to get no bids. Now, now, The the other thing, oh, Sapphire goes, oh, Sapphire, I'm sorry, I just got distracted there. Is that what you do in your shows? Do you do a lot of the, let me know what you want. Let me know what you want. Now let's talk about discoverability. Yeah. See, so this is your bridging the gap of request. If you like the request model or you're concerned about what to bring up, you have an option. There's 8. Don't go more than 8, but 6 items, 4 items. And like I said, if you have to go down to 2, you can. Overlap value, overlap competition. So what does whatnot like? Okay, I'm not talking algorithm. Don't care. Whatnot likes, views things in discoverability senses. One of the biggest discoverability aspects that pushes you into people's feeds is activity. The best activity is bids. The other activity is creating opportunity for bids. And what is that? That's running stuff. If you're comfortable knowing I'm going to keep running things and potentially getting bids because I'm starting things at $1 with a uniform, easy shipping model. And somebody asked about that earlier. That would be using a simple thing like max shipping, or where you tell them everything's at one weight, and whatever you want to do. Personally, the simplest for me is free, but I know everyone's not ready to jump into that, nor do I advocate or suggest that at this point in time. I highly recommend you go to like a max shipping model where buy one item and then it's free shipping, or buy 2 items or whatever, or at least something that's easy to say. Max shipping today is $7.99, or 8.99, whatever it is. Very easy to recognize, very easy to say, very easy for them to comprehend and understand that they won't spend any more than that. Okay? Then don't forget this. Then we hit the after the sale's over, what you're looking for. Okay. First of all, you can't do this once. I'm going to go back to the beginning. When you allocate money and resources towards doing this, you have to understand that you're going to have to do this several times in order to see the trajectory and the opportunity that it provides, which means there's a potential of losing money, which means you're going to have to allot basically what I said for one sale at least several times more, 2, 3 times. And here's the thing, the more you see the trajectory go up and whether you lost money or made money, you'll see. If there's a reduction in losses, that is called progress, okay? And you can't know that trend unless you do it several times. And if you did make money the first time, if the value of or your revenue increases or your profits increase as you go, that means success as well. So requiring yourself to allot capital, okay, for future shows in this similar fashion is what's going to be needed to understand. This will also help your brain get comfortable with doing dollar starts because your brain will be looking at this as a marketing experiment slash growth idea that you're putting into place to see whether or not you can make money utilizing these principles. Reduce shipping being one of them, not necessary, but try to make it simple. But dollar starts based on what we talked about at the top of this chat show. Successful shows are successful because of dollar starts. They're not successful first and then do dollar starts. We talked about the what I call the Bill and Ted paradox. Anybody remember Bill and Ted? Van Halen. We need Van Halen to make a triumphant video, but we need to do a triumphant video to get Van Halen. No, Christy, my suggestion to you is if you've been selling long enough, okay, you're going to have to do it. Like I said, I can draw the lines. You're going to have to paint in the figures. Okay. So when you're talking about, we can open up for questions if you guys have questions now. I'm doing a very broad, loose framework. And if I start getting too granular and detailed, it actually creates too much confusion. It's easier for you to take this broad principle, start experimenting with it and learn along the way. Yeah, yeah, it's no problem. I appreciate your compliment. It's not all in just doing dollar starts, and that's the point. Somebody said that if they do dollar starts, they feel like they're getting hosed. It's changing your mentality towards doing a strategic, planned, uh, thought out process to doing your dollar starts. It's not something where you just go and do dollar starts. So, hey, Rachel Flips, what's going on? You have items you do not have. How do you keep them from leaving? You don't, because if you don't have items they don't want, you don't worry about it. You worry about capturing the people that are coming into your room with the items you do have. You're let's look at this again. You're creating a crowd for you. You are not creating a sale for them. No, you just tell them like, depending on how you run your show. No, that's I don't have that. Why do you need to tell it? Why you don't need to convince them to stay for nothing? You just say, hey, I got a bunch of awesome items. You might find something you didn't realize you needed. All right, but no, I don't have that right now. Maybe I might have it in the future if it's a category of items you sell. Let me see some other questions here. I thought thoughts on three versus one because profits are better due to what not fees. No, profits aren't better because of $3 starts. Listen, your fees are the same whether something sells for $1 or $3. Okay, yeah, you realize that your upfront fee it just feels like a larger percentage. That first dollar and $3 still gets charged the same as $1. That 30 it doesn't go away. Okay, that you understand that you sell something for $3, that first dollar still got charged 30 cents. You got to look at things in aggregates as a whole, okay? Overall, what you sold at the end of the show. So starting things at $3 versus $1, you lose the friction-free attributes, depending on what products you're selling. Okay. I'm not saying don't do $3 starts. If that's a huge mental hiccup for you, then go ahead and do $3 starts. But this whole show that I'm talking about is trying to get you equipped and comfortable with doing dollar starts, which is the most friction-free selling that you can as far as your start prices go. We have the endowment effect, the house money effect that goes into play, no matter how small that is on a compounding aspect. So let's take, for instance, you make tons of money on six, seven, eight, nine, $10 items, and somebody wins something that you started at $3 and might bid it up to four. If I start at $1, I might get six. But if I start at $1 and it sells for less than $3, dollar, $2, $3, and it's worth $6 or $7 in their mind, they are now working with house money, which means they're going to buy more in the future. That's one principle. The endowment effect stipulates the more times people bid on an item, okay, the more they're going to bid on that same item. They get what's called a phantom ownership, the endowment effect. And then also, the more times people try to swipe for an item, get engaged in your sale, statistics dictate that they're going to stay in your sale for a longer period of time. And the more you can create those opportunities, whether you realize it or not, $3 pauses those opportunities for a large swath of people. Just the knowing that you're doing dollar starts, just knowing keeps people in your room. Just knowing that, hey, you're doing dollar starts and the opportunity to pick something up for a dollar or get in early, I'm here. And there's more mental opportunity for them to want to bid, even if they don't get it. That's an exercise mentally in their head that they do, which has a very close proximity, if not, if for some people, affects them just as much as actually getting the bid, thereby kicking in that uh, endowment principle, the endowment effect. And then there's a whole bunch of other things. And I will continue to go over those, continue to talk about those. I've talked about them a ton in the past, but now that we're doing the YouTube channel, I will be revisiting those. There's too many compounding attributes with auction theory as well, which we're doing. We're selling stuff in auctions that plug into the value proposition that dollar start brings. Again, aggregates the way you want to look. If you look at your entire amount of money that you made at the end of the show, realize that every first dollar was charged the same percentage, the same fees. If I sell something for $10, that first dollar still had the same percentage taken off and still had the same fee taken off as if I sold something for a dollar. But if I sell something for a dollar, all those other attributes come along as well. Again, we're looking at this from a perspective of marketing and growth every time. Now, the other thing I'm going to tell you, you're not going to do in this format, you're not going to do giveaways. I mean, I can't stop you from doing them, but there's no reason to do giveaways. You tell people your giveaway is the dollar starts and the deals that are going to happen as a result. And you ask them, would you rather have giveaways or would you rather have deals? Would you rather have giveaways or dollar starts? Would you rather have giveaways or reduce shipping? What are they going to answer? Everybody here, if you are a buyer here, do you want dollar starts and reduced shipping, dollar starts and free shipping, opportunity for deals, or do you want giveaways? You want giveaway? What do you want? If you're a serious buyer, they don't want giveaways. They want an opportunity. They want an opportunity to get good deals. They want an opportunity to buy stuff because that's what they're on here for. Giveaways have a negative correlation to it on multiple fronts. Let's say you're giving away a good piece of merchandise. I went into a room once and someone goes, "I'm going to run this. Thank you for the raid." They did the right thing to the to grab a great item, but they exercised what they were doing with the item incorrectly. They should have taken that beautiful cameo set that they had and started at $1 as a thank you for the raid. I would have bid on that cameo set. It was absolutely gorgeous, but they did it as a giveaway. And I was like, well, now one person's going to have an opportunity to enjoy the potential as opposed to the entire room. Yes, Zoe's Treasures point out a great thing. I want a chance to win every time, not just once. And I want to determine whether I'm going to win or not, as opposed to leaving it up to the fates. Yet they made nothing on it. They would have had, and this is what I mean by doing dollar starts, as opposed to getting rid of giveaways and the value that comes, the magnitude of that value that comes to reallocating your resources. All right. So I know it's ultra simple that I went over. It's an easy plan to capitalize on. It's an easy system to put into place. And all it takes is the start of it needs to be adjustment on your perspective that you're utilizing this as a marketing and a business growth plan because that's what's necessary for succeeding on these platforms. This is not Ron Popeil set it and forget it, static listing opportunities here. That's not the case. Yeah, that's great. That was awesome for you. Now, do we have any more questions concerning this? I was not going. I wanted to throw this out there. I challenge you seriously. I challenge each and every one of you to go give this a test. Give it a try, but don't forget the key is to understanding you're taking merchandise for that purpose. You can even raid. You don't even have to go out and buy merchandise with this specific intent. If you know what you paid for certain merchandise that you have had that's sitting around forever, that you've already had and haven't managed to sell at the prices you've been trying to get for them, utilize that. Nothing better than utilizing something that already has negative associations to it in your brain, reallocating it towards marketing, understanding it's a sunken cost and it's time to get it out, alleviating the potential pain of the loss. No, Debbie, that's entirely up to you. No other questions. I mean, that's awesome if no one has any other questions. Oh, that's fine, Zoe's mod. Zoe, you always read chat stuff. That's funny. Oh, the simple shipping. I thought I'd covered that already for you. Simple shipping is something that everyone can easily understand and you can explain very quickly. So people never, if anybody asks, do you bundle shipping or whatever, and you can just say, my shipping is $7 max. That's all you're gonna have to pay here. Or if you have small items and you can do, 3.99, and then you can tell them things like I do, once and done. You buy one item and then free shipping from there on. As long as you can easily articulate what your shipping is for them to understand, it makes it less. There creates less friction. That's simple shipping. So when you create your listing for your item, what I say is you create a generic listing. I would title it choice for this idea that I'm going over this plan, this marketing plan, and then you do dollar starts. You put it at a dollar, okay, and then you do a uniform one weight. So source accordingly for this. Okay, this is a marketing plan. Source accordingly. Get like an average weight of what the items are that you're going to be selling. Okay, use that average weight and dollar starts, and then create a simple explanation for how your shipping works. Which, if you decide to do max shipping, you can do that. You can also utilize your previous sale numbers to find out how much the average person pays for shipping. So let's say the average person pays for shipping in your sales is $8. Do 7.99 max shipping. The difference is they see that, and it's a positive attribute to your sale. It explains it, and there'll never be any questions. Then they come in, and it tells them right at the get go, and they come in max shipping 7.99. You don't need to explain anything. Whatnot takes care of telling them for them. And then when they reach free shipping, they get a nice big, hey, congratulations, you now have free shipping. Another positive for you that you don't even have to do. whatnot takes care of it. It reinforces their desire to bid. Okay. And then obviously, if you want to do free shipping, which again, I wouldn't suggest that. If you're at the point where you're comfortable doing free shipping, go ahead and do it. But first, I would get baby steps, get used to doing dollar starts, and then free shipping is a compounding effect once you get comfortable with doing dollar starts. So let me go up here. I see that there's probably some other questions. And if you have a question for me, make sure it's uh, question marks. Well, hey, that is, I mean, that's awesome. That means you're doing better than I did. I have trouble doing dollar starts and free shipping with gold. You did dollar starts with solid gold and free shipping a few weeks ago, and it was fantastic. Doing another one soon. That's that's awesome. Love to hear it. That is amazing. That is amazing. So what do you think of a customer appreciation gift, like a special for the end of the month? Well, here's the beauty of what you just asked in there. Okay. Uh, what you want to do for your buyer appreciation is a special sale. Okay, you want to make an event sale, not an event item for one particular person. You want to do something to appreciate all of them. And guess what you can do to appreciate all your buyers? Guess what you can do if you don't normally do it? You can incorporate and show as a token of appreciation to each and every one of your buyers. You got it. You got it. Don't make one person happy. You can do dollar starts, but I'm talking beyond that. If you don't do free shipping and you tell everybody I'm doing a free shipping show to show appreciation for all my buyers, everyone that buys in this show is going to have to pay a dime in shipping. That is viewed as a gift, which will be reciprocated over and over again during that show and extend beyond that show. Event sales are always something I suggest if you're going to try something for the first time, that outside of what the outline I just gave you for a style of sale that you can put your toe in the water free in $1 starts, is doing event sales. Like, let's say you hit a certain number of sales and you're like, I'm going to do a special show. You're going to promote it. You're going to say, when I hit, and this is a beauty. This is a compounding effect. Let's say you're at 2,600 sales. That's awesome, Karen. Thank you. Let's say, just hypothetical, whatever your numbers are. Let's say you're at 2,600 sales. You need what, 400 more to get to 3,000 sales. You start telling everybody, because this will help you get everybody energized to get you there. Everybody, once I hit 3,000 sales, the next show I'm doing is going to be a dollar start free shipping show to show appreciation to every one of my buyers. Now, do you think they are going to be excited about that and help you get to that number faster? The answer is yes. Don't use followers, use sales. They can see your sales number as much as they can see your follower number. You're showing buyers an appreciation. The buyers are who you're showing appreciation for. That builds significant buy in and brand value to your buyers and community. You're getting all the things that are the most leverageable value opportunities on live stream selling. Follower, who cares? Your buyers want to be appreciated, not your followers. And if you show appreciation for your buyers, me personally, I like when I have repeat buyers, so I don't have to spend tons and tons of money trying to get new buyers like you do when you're constantly trying to get followers and turn the followers into buyers. I'd rather turn a buyer into a follower and then into a repeat buyer. Way more effective, I promise. Not only promise, guarantee. It's just it's statistically true, observationally true, um, psychologically true, behaviorally true. It's just the way it works. Interaction in the chat. Promoting, the best promotion just being on running sales. I don't know what you mean, which promotion you're talking about. I'm not an advocate for it because mainly the numbers that they give you for your promotions don't don't pan out. That's a probably a topic that I should go over on another day. Do something like talk all the promotions. So I do. It's almost 9 o'clock. I've been on for about an hour. I want to get to the second part here. We wanted to talk to. Did you say you switched accounts? So you're Thrifty by Sunflower. Okay. I'm going to bring on Thrifty by Sunflower. They, I don't remember what all we wanted to chat about. I think a lot of it initially kind of had to do with um, the dollar start principle and the results they had with a purchase they made from me. And I'm kind of curious to how that's panning out. So so let's bring them on. I'm going to ask them a couple questions. We're going to go over the backstory, everybody, and then we're going to dig into this. And let's hope that we all get something out of it. Where'd you go? Say hi again. Say hi so I can find. I don't know where you got to on my list. There you go. Come on.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
Hear me okay? It's
I can
early.
hear you. Can everyone else hear you? Can everyone else hear fine? Say something. Say hi so everyone can
Hi,
hear you.
hello. I don't have
We're
an
good.
Android, so my daughter's on. She has an Android and there's feedback. It's horrible.
Okay. Yeah, I want to make sure that that's not the case for everybody else. Oh yeah. So he's mod me. You need to be okay. Make sure you're okay with recording. You're
Yes,
okay with
fine.
you being
No problem.
on the. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go over a couple things real quick here. The backstory: I buy large amounts of sterling, and lately I've been buying a bulk sterling pile, and decided to see if there was a market for anybody that wanted to buy bulk piles pre-refinery. Basically, it's stuff right before it's going to be sent off to get melted down. And you decided to buy one of those piles off of me, and have been going through and selling it. And then you came in the other day, the other week, was it last week or something, and told me that you guys did started a show and ended up going over to dollar starts and uh, had a significant increase in pretty much all metrics it seemed from the ones I was asking you. So that's the backstory. And then I said, try it again, and then we'll talk about it. However, from my understanding, you decided not to do dollar starts again, and you went to, I don't remember what you said. Did you? What was
$5.
you
Yeah.
went to the $5 starts? All right. My first question for you is, when you did the dollar starts, did you tell everybody that you were going to be doing another show with dollar starts?
No, but we
Okay.
didn't start out with dollar starts that night either. It wasn't to the raid. The
Yeah, I know.
double,
You said you were the raid. So, um,
which we weren't selling anything before the raid.
you weren't saying what was the raid? Let's go over that a little bit. What was the raid?
So it's disabled veteran, someone we follow, and my
Mhm.
daughter's also a disabled veteran, so they have a lot in common. And he rated us with probably about 20, but then he went back out and sold again and came back with another 30. We kept all 50 in all night,
Okay. Well, that's
all
that's
night.
perfect.
It was great.
Yeah. So, how do you think you managed to keep the 50 people in your room? Like,
They
let's
were,
go over the let's walk through this. So you had a rate of about 20 people, you said,
mhm.
correct? What was what happened after that? Did you decide to do dollar starts immediately as a thank you for that? Like, what were the actions you took?
Yeah, so what I did was I gave a bracelet to my daughter, sterling silver from the lot I bought from you. And I
Hmm.
said, do this one a dollar start. And they bid it up. And that was it. We just stuck with it from then on. But I did it in behalf of the raid. I said,
Hmm.
because of what you said. And we've been doing that, switching from doing a giveaway, which we do still do here and there, for a raid, but because we forget. And but like when my
You
daughter was away and it was just me, I have this chair and I keep something in there, and that's for the raid. If I get a raid, this something special comes out and I do a dollar store.
okay?
Yeah.
So, just I'm gonna get back up a little bit. You said you forget to do the dollar start and still sometimes run a giveaway
The-
instead?
For the raid.
Yeah.
Right.
So, do you preload your giveaways?
Hmm.
Okay. One of the ways that will remind you to not do that is stop preloading the giveaways. And
I
then it'll
know.
force you to do this because I want you to reflect on this. I want you to reflect on this. The worst thing you can do now is start going back to the habits that weren't giving you the results you got from that. So
Right.
you had a trigger event that happened that caused you to go to the dollar starts. You had an opportunity to capitalize on because it did really well as soon as you did the dollar start. Nothing saying you have to continue doing the dollar starts if it did poorly, but if you see it did well, there's no reason not to do another dollar start after another dollar start after, especially if the money's there. So the dollar start's always going to provide you that opportunity. You know what's not going to provide you that opportunity?
But
A giveaway. A giveaway. A giveaway is not going to provide
I
you any
don't like
opportunity to
them.
capitalize on. I'm saying this so everyone understands this that's
Right.
listening at this point in time. The
Right.
opportunity that presented itself for you to take advantage of that day would have never happened if you did a giveaway.
Hmm.
That would have never happened. And you can remind me, you normally do what kind of average order value when you have your standard show? What was your average order value on basically for the majority of your
So
shows?
the last show we just did, we had 100, I mean 66 orders versus 255
Well, what?
orders.
Okay. What I'm asking is your average order value, meaning on average, what did the
Oh, okay.
right?
So $5 on the average order from the dollar show, we were $17.99 average.
Again, the difference of being able to capitalize on something.
Yes.
So let me just tell everyone that's listening, you've heard me say this before, everybody that is listening, stop doing giveaways. And when somebody raids you, I just talked about this earlier about my own personal experience of wanting to bid on something and get a chance to buy something that could have provided an opportunity for that person if they would have decided to run it at $1 as opposed to running it as a giveaway. And then if the results are good, you then can decide to do another dollar start. You can decide to do another one. You can capitalize on the momentum that is created as a result of a raid. And when you do giveaway, you absolutely destroy that momentum and you destroy the opportunity that could present itself by utilizing a dollar start. I'm going to ask the chat, does everybody understand what I'm saying? Do you understand how ineffective a giveaway is in comparison to doing a dollar start when someone raids into you? Just one element where we have to get this giveaway mentality out in comparison to what the value is to other opportunities, being dollar starts. Not to mention, it's a small opportunity for you to get comfortable in realizing what dollar starts have to offer. All right, we're going to move on. I just want to make sure people can, you had the experience and I can sit here and talk till I'm blue in my face about it. Uh, and until people hear it from other people that have been selling on here, it doesn't land quite the same. Give me 1 second. I have to acknowledge it of raid here. Shmi, daily raid. Shmi, take it to raid. Shmi, you know the drill. You and you alone can feel free to plug your shows. Let everybody know what you sell when you sell it. And anybody that likes you that is safe, please put mark and follow. And remember, everybody, one and only one person can plug their shows, and that's a raider and the raider only, which can do so up to 2 or 3 times in the next several minutes if they so desire. Again, take it to raid. And I hope you had a great, wonderful show, which is my alternative, everybody, as an example, because I already do dollar starts. So I give that as an opportunity for the raider. So we're going to move on. I do want to ask you a couple of things. How long have you been selling on Whatnot?
A year this month.
A year this month. Okay. Somebody's asking, is your norm like $5 starts? Is that what you
Yeah.
normally do? $5
Well,
starts.
no, in the beginning, we did dollar starts for a long time. And then, but we also did different things, and we now switched solely to jewelry, vintage jewelry. And with the sterling silver, we added, and we get that here and there. But that big bulk sale from you, was like a kicker because now everybody comes in. You have sterling, you have sterling. I need more. I
So,
like, it's like that drug addict. I need more.
but here's the thing you missed. They had that as a result of the dollar starts as well. So
Right.
what you're going to effectively do is start diminishing the value of your sterling. You could have taken the opportunity, since you're telling me that you have dealt with different products and then just recently decided to dive into the sterling silver market. Is that
This
correct?
year. This
Yeah,
year. Yeah.
this year. So that buy provided you an opportunity to really capitalize on the sterling silver market.
Hmm.
Okay.
Correct.
And then this is the stuff everyone needs to sink in and understand, that you need to take advantage of the opportunities that present themselves and then continue with it, or otherwise you will lose the momentum. And on here, one of the pillars of success is momentum. Um, and that's why when you were in the chat, I should have had you come on and really tried to, hammer home the fact that if anything like, excuse me, that ever happens again, what you wanted to do is go take one of your shows immediately and tell people, this date we're going to be selling sterling silver starting at $1 again. Everybody that was in your show that was extremely happy about the switch over that you had. And that's what I was asking. And I thought you said yes, that's what you were doing. But apparently
The
that
change.
wasn't. And you went back to $5 starts. And you told me the reason why you went back to $5 starts. And what was that reason?
My daughter didn't want to do dollar starts, but we also wanted to save the sterling for our anniversary show this month. And we're gonna do dollar starts for
So
the
you're going to make an
1 year
event style.
anniversary.
Okay.
Right.
Are you
Because
in
I
an
have to
area that
collect sterling. I just went to a gold buyer and offered him more than what he pays for melt. Give me all your sterling before you break it up, and I'll pay you the 100%.
uh-huh,
And I did.
and
Yes,
they
I
sold it
spent
to you?
thousands. Yes.
Okay. Here's another lesson. Again, this is compounding attributes of, which I'm extremely happy to hear you say this, because you're taking one opportunity and observing the value that was brought as a result of one simple thing. You got a raid. You decided to do dollar starts. You realize what kind of value you could get out of the sterling silver that you buy based on a specific metric, and that's melt value. And then you realize there's an opportunity to buy from other people, and you took it and weren't scared to go and ask. And now you have a new source that
Right.
isn't going to be me. Correct?
Right.
So now
Well,
you don't
you
have to worry
too.
about what's that?
You too.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm just saying the best
I went to
opportunity is,
pawn shops. I
it,
went to everywhere, and I said,
yeah.
"I'll pay you more than melt." Because it's an investment. I've been in sales my whole life, 50
Uh huh.
years in selling and successfully. I mean,
Uh huh.
I have a very large real estate company. I mean, this is my true blood is sales.
It's
So I
selling.
get it. I have to invest it somewhere. As much as painful
Mhm.
it may be, if you don't invest in your business, why bother?
Yeah.
But
And
I'm also the lemonade girl. I wouldn't wasn't that. I was the door-to-door sales kid,
yeah. 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 Yeah.
and I go out and get it.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
And it, so you have a lengthy sales background, and you
Mhm.
understand that this is not like what I was talking. Were you here at the beginning of the show when I was talking about the difference of selling on here in comparison to other platforms?
Oh,
You
yes.
have to understand that you are starting another business, this or another money making avenue, which is essentially starting a business. It's not the same principled ways that the static listing, the previous, what I call now,
No.
legacy style selling systems on the 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 bays,
Yeah.
the double E, I call it,
Mhm.
and the
And waiting
river and
for
all
'em.
those places. Yeah, the set it and forget it and wait for it to sell.
I hate it.
You
I've
well,
been going to auctions since the '80s and flipping from one auction to another, bringing my items. But
yeah.
yeah, I think Whatnot is the best ground floor opportunity. I've had retail stores. This is the best opportunity in a lifetime.
So let me ask you, what you already have a strategy in place. So you did the $5 starts because initially you had told me that the message you sent to me sounded like it was more involved with fear out of not having enough people.
Right.
And I understand that, and that's kind of why I had this conversation today, or why I talked about this topic as far as creating a strategy that allows for overcoming some of that fear and providing you opportunity. And but your secondary reasoning though was because you're going to have um, a uh, like a
Celebration.
anniversary
Yeah,
celebration
our
sale.
1-year anniversary. This
Okay.
month we did 4,000. We celebrated 4,000 followers, 4,000 sales, and now 1-year anniversary. All
Okay.
this month.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's awesome. That's all. That's
Mhm.
spectacular. So, let's go over the numbers again, though. I'm going to go backward and go over the numbers, and then my suggestion to
Okay.
you is, if it sounds like you are you pound the pavement, you go out there and hit the streets in order to find merchandise, find sources. So, are you at the point where you confidently think you might? When is the anniversary sale that you're doing? You get it. You can get a free
End of
little
the
plug.
month, the
The
28th.
the 28th.
28th,
The 28th is your
9 p.m.
okay. So you still have plenty of time.
Right.
So, are you gonna reserve doing dollar starts until then?
I'm gonna convince my daughter. She's the one's afraid. We have no problem investing the money. That's not the thing. It gets very discouraging when you have 7 people in your room and they're getting everything for $1. But we also understand the same sense that that's an investment. It is because they come back. They do. We have a lot of repeat business, a lot. Like you
Yeah,
said before, I'd rather have a buyer than a
yeah,
follower.
yeah, yeah. So, understand this too, everybody. Consistency. I think probably part of the problem that you ran into with getting the leverage that you needed to with dollar starts was the frequent change in product.
Right.
Just my.
That
I mean,
killed
I don't
us.
know what else you did. Jewelry is fine. Like if you go from costume to sterling and back and forth,
No,
and doing dollar
it
starts.
was
If you
home
were doing
decor. Oh, it's horrible.
So if you were doing home decor, dollar starts, and then switch to jewelry, you're essentially, unless you build up a huge following in the home decor and on this app, have that happening in less than a year is not going to happen to the vast majority of people in
No.
any category. It's not. But what I highly advocate for these days is try to create a following and stay focused on one category and then branch out after that. Once you have a good following and you have built your business model and change, do your numbers accordingly, then you branch out. Did you branch out? Did you flip to jewelry as a result? It's what's funny here. This is funny. I just had to throw this out here. You did the opposite. Like, what was it Zoe's Treasures? I don't know if you're still here. I believe does a lot of the home decor stuff, and then tried to branch out, or not entirely switch, but go to jewelry, and it just wasn't for her. And she's just like, nope, going back.
Right.
They go back to not doing that. But what did you decide to do that because you were having you can correct me if I'm wrong, Zoe Treasures. Tracy, you can correct me if I'm wrong in that observation. But did you switch because of an opportunity that presented itself, or did you say, okay, I see the value in whatnot, and I'm deciding to change my category and product lineup because of that, or because the value's there as opposed to just an opportunity of merchandise.
No, so what happened was we just real quick, we started selling Matchbox cars. My son sells Disney pins on here. And so we tried Matchbox because I had that. And
Hmm.
then we didn't like it. We went to jewelry. And then we figured we'll add one night of vintage decor and one night of vintage jewelry. But our jewelry buyers were coming in and not seeing jewelry, and we lost them. And then we
Hmm.
made a switch, and we were doing dollar starts on everything.
Hmm.
And then in probably January, we said no more doing multiple avenues. We're going to stick to one thing, be consistent, stick to 2 nights a week, be consistent. And now I really see the possibility of hitting Premier Seller just from our last few shows. And I
Okay,
could see it.
that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's great to hear. So, all that said, you're doing the right things. You're
Thank you.
focusing. You're being consistent. You're doing. I'm assuming you're doing the same time, same days,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And you're doing twice a week, just so everyone realizes it's really hard. I mean, it's ultimate. The ultimate goal is to be consistent with no matter what you can do, but it's going to get harder and harder. My personal opinion, to be relevant and successful in here if you're only doing one day a week.
Oh,
I
even
think
2
two.
days.
I was gonna say, I think 2 is even starting to get hard. Eventually, it's gonna be a 3 plus to have, like, I think 3, a lot of people when once it gets to a point where it's like a true source of income for them, provides them the opportunity to take care of everything in between that they need, shipping, customer service, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But, doing 2, I think is gonna break way to almost necessitating 3 here in the not too distant future if it isn't
Yeah.
really already here. But, the nice thing is it provides you an opportunity for growth if you have the time and
Mhm.
resources to put towards it.
Well, we're talking about adding a one morning show.
Okay.
If we don't do mornings. Like I said, I'm a real estate broker. I sell 10 million a year. So I mean, I'm very successful. I
Well,
love whatnot though. This
yeah.
I
So
love.
my suggestion, my real estate, like, I used to be a mortgage broker, so
I
I
know.
know.
I heard.
Um, so you understand a lot of core principles. I mean, there's not a lot you need to get. It seems from me, other than, and it seems like you're finding the things out that you need to find out along the way. So I don't know if you
Making
have any other.
connections. I think that's key. Like I
Well,
never asked
100%.
anybody if I could promote in someone's show. I make friends or I help. And that's why I'm under Debbie Lee store. That store was my parents' store and my logo under Debbie Lee store. That's where originally we were going to start under, but we did went to Thrifty. But I don't ask those things because I find that people just follow you. Like I'm in your show and I'm talking. That day that I bought that 12 pounds of sterling, it was
Hmm.
actually over almost 13 pounds. But I gained like 30 new followers on Debbie Lee's store, which I don't sell under. I buy under there.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That's
I
gonna.
have a shop though.
You have
Why
a
not?
thought?
Right. I have
What?
stuff. Yeah. I sell like luxury, but not luxury, Coach bags, anything like that, but no jewelry on there.
Oh, on the
No store.
Debbie,
Yeah, the Debbie Lee store.
on the other one.
Yeah, this one we do everything. We just do vintage jewelry. We sell, and it's awesome. I mean, I love it. I'm having the greatest time. It's a lot of fun. I want to add more shows because I just enjoy it so much. And I'm
Okay.
going to retire from real estate in a few years, hopefully.
Yeah. I That's nice when you have the opportunity to do that. So, I mean, you have some opportunities that some other people struggle with. You have the opportunity that you've already been successful, and you have some resources that other people may not have to the extent that you do. Somebody asked, and you can let you okay if I share the number that you paid for the sterling? We kind of
Yeah,
put
I
things
don't
into
care.
perspective. It was
Uh,
9, right? 9 is what
Nine.
you paid.
Yes,
Yeah,
what I forgot was I wish I had my tax ID number.
yes,
Get
that
your
would.
sales tax because I would have saved $500.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah, I didn't
absolutely.
even think about it until I went to go buy from the gold guy, and he goes, "Where's your tax ID number?" I was like, "What?" So I did that. I
Nine
registered for it.
thousand, Sapphire, 9,000.
9,000.
Yeah, it was pounds of sterling,
It
troy
was
pounds.
I forget how many troy ounces. It was more
It
than
was
what you
big.
said though, because I have enough of the scrap that they had prepared for melt that
Uh-huh.
I'll sell and still make over 1,000 on that. I'm
So
waiting
you're
for
gonna
it to
end up
go up.
so you're gonna end up making $1,000 essentially on that pile that you bought from me. Is that what you're
Oh, more
saying?
than that. Probably
So
11,000 is what I figured.
so you're gonna profit about 2 grand
2
is what
grand.
you're looking to
Easy,
profit.
easy.
Okay.
But that scrap, if it goes up, it's up to $64, right? So I'm
Yeah.
already gonna make more than the 1,000 that I have set aside.
Okay. So there. I mean, that's scalable. What I want everyone to understand is we're dealing with the principles that deal with scalable numbers because it's percentages based on valuations for a commodity. So we're dealing with sterling silver, which is a nice thing that if you might want to take into consideration when you decide to get into what type of products you want to sell on here. Those are nice because you can come up with the numbers of profitability, the right buy points you need to buy things at, what you can sell things at if things don't turn out exactly the way you want. So you have a bottom line, like safety net essentially. So if you're buying things with precious metals, you can get X amount of dollars out of it at whatever given point in time you need to get out of it for. Does that make sense, everybody that's listening? if you're interested in kind of exploring a potential other avenue for selling. But let's also go back to understanding that success on this platform is sticking with a certain category and going with it in order to capitalize on those opportunities. Because, like I said earlier, I think some of the problems you may run into with succeeding with your dollar starts is you weren't consistent in the category and product model that you were selling. Uh, I will always say other product opportunities are available to you, but first you need to succeed in one before you decide to start trying to succeed in two or three.
Right.
And me, I've all but gone all jewelry because I've realized focusing on one thing helps you grow faster. We
Right.
still have our Friday show, but the value we get out of our Friday show pales in comparison to what it used to. And we used to have 2 to 3, storage unit or estate sale category uh, sales. So just food for thought, everybody. It's if it affects everybody. We only have that sale once a week, and as a result of having that once a week comparison to having 4 jewelry shows or more, actually 5 pretty much at a minimum, now usually 6 jewelry sales throughout the duration of a week, it has brought down the value to our sales on our Friday shows, which has increased the buying opportunity for other people, but it still brought down our own personal value to doing those non jewelry related sales. So,
Yeah.
any questions for me? Is there anything else you wanted to go over?
I'm
I just
still, I think it's still getting only, like Friday night show. Nobody knew we weren't going to do a dollar store, and we were okay. It was okay. I mean, I stayed on for 5 hours. We did 60 something sales, and some were bidded up, some
hmm
weren't. And we did $5. It was because that's our sweet spot, I feel like I could sell 5 items at $5 instead of 1 item at a dollar, but I heard what you said about that first dollars, your fees are the same. So I didn't know that either. Still
well,
playing
it's
around with all that,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, obviously, you got to take into consideration things like shipping costs and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
But you got to
We do
understand,
have to ship it.
and at yeah, yeah, yeah. And as you understand that you have to put money in, and there's marketing expenses, and that you're essentially obtaining an opportunity for a future buyer by providing them something with a dollar. There's the compounding effects that I talk about all the time: the house money effect, the 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 give back that people are willing to give, the reciprocation that triggers when somebody gets a deal, the appreciation everybody in your room has for when someone gets a deal, especially when you celebrate it as opposed to condemn it like a lot of people do.
Oh,
A lot of the success in it falls within how you react to it and how you manage to capitalize on it and leverage those opportunities. Those opportunities of somebody buying something for a dollar are just as potentially valuable to the future growth of your business as that person, as what when disabled vet. I know disabled vet, they used to come and buy stuff from us. I think when we did clothing, they were a big clothing buyer from us at one point in time, I think. And then you know that opportunity that was provided by them raiding into you and you capitalized on it, you got to do that every time there's an opportunity to capitalize on it. You
mm,
know, I do it. I miss them and I catch myself later. There's nothing you can do if you miss the opportunity, but
mhm,
realizing that they're there, you're going to capitalize on them more frequently. And that's another perspective. People allow the dollar gets to turn into an expense in their brain instead of an opportunity to grow their business.
right. Where are you gonna put your money? You gonna give it to IRS? You gotta spend it
Well,
somewhere.
Well, it's you do, but I wouldn't want to be completely generic with the money because then you start making excuses for just wasting it.
Oh, no, no, of
It's
course not.
creating it's creating the opportunities when they present themselves.
This is an easy business to set up, but you still have to have a business plan. You still have to have decided what you need to do, what you can invest, and what you can lose. Every bit. I owned a brick and mortar. Waited 3 weeks for the first person to walk in, and when the first sale happened 4 weeks later, my profit was $5, and I hung it up on the wall behind the register. I don't. I hate brick and mortar. I hate it. Because
Yeah,
you're sitting there hoping somebody walks in, and the amount of money you gotta spend on marketing is thousands.
yeah, and this is not the same, but yet
No,
a lot of the principles are ingrained in here. You still have to allot a upfront cost to opening and getting rocking and rolling.
right.
It's not just a I'm going to go on and I'm going to do dollar starts
But
and it's going to
people
be a
sit here and
self
they think,
fulfilling
oh,
prophecy.
yeah, I was here for an hour. I had no business. I sat in my store for 12 hours and had no business. You have to invest your time and energy and money. And you have to realize, do you go into every store and you buy in every store? Do you I accidentally scroll into people's stores, your shops on whatnot, and I feel bad because I'm not buying nothing, but I didn't mean to scroll out of your show and go into somebody else. It happens. Not You don't buy in every store you go into. And you look, and that's
You
what
look, you read
happens.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. So, again, did you have any other questions for me before I let you go or anything
No,
you were
I'm
curious
good.
about?
I wish I was running after you so you could raid me.
Well, my suggestion to you is try to look at other opportunities to shift over to the dollar starts. The other opportunity
Yes.
that you missed was advertising the show immediately after. I think you should understand the concept that you have the ability to go find the sourcing and didn't need to use that as a reason to not do dollar starts. I'm
Right.
pretty certain, based on just talking to you, that you would have found what you needed to do the show that you were going to have, the celebratory show that you're going to do dollar
Mhm.
starts. You could have did both. I already know
Right.
you could just by talking to you. You know
Right.
you
Thank
well
you.
enough that
I
you would have
appreciate
went
that.
out and found the merchandise if you were light on the merchandise to make it happen. I can already tell by talking to you. If you run in a successful real estate business and you've been doing it for years, you have the gumption, you have the will to go and make it happen. And you have the understanding that even if you had to go buy some stuff at retail, which I highly suggest people understand that if you need to in order to make the show worthwhile is another business marketing expense that you can utilize, knowing that well, are you going to lose all that money? No, but are you going to gain opportunity out of it for future compounding growth? The answer
Right.
is yes. My brothers incorporated that. I've done that. I bought stuff that I know I'm going to lose money on. They're called loss leaders, but the reason you're doing that is because it's essentially a marketing expense for future growth and future value that you're going to get later on. So,
100%.
sounds like your gut's already telling you that you should probably throw another dollar
Yeah.
start show in there in between now and then. My suggestion, though, is in order to compound off of it, say, hey, this is a dollar start show. We're doing it as a, getting fired up for our true event where we're going to do dollar starts and do throw in free shipping.
We do the
Or
$4 cap shipping or
I'm just
4.39,
saying for the
whatever. Yeah.
celebratory attribute. And if you don't want to do free shipping, I understand. But for you, I already know you will be able to go and look at how much you pay for shipping, how much the people
Right.
are paying for shipping, so what your full extent of what your potential expense is gonna be, and if you're completely uncomfortable doing that, don't do it. Fine, don't do that, but then just hire a few extra, like, marquee pieces that you can say, "Okay, the dollar start celebratory anniversary show is gonna be this, but on
Mhm.
steroids," when you're running your
Well,
dollar
it's
start
a
show.
$4.39 investment from the buyer. After that, they get free shipping, and that's been working. That works well.
Mhm. Yeah,
For
yeah.
that big show that we did $4 cap shipping, not 4.39, whatever,
Mhm.
4.78, whatever it is.
Well, you do understand that front end handle influence. I mean, you sell real estate. You always have the nines after. You don't, you
Right.
know. I'm guessing, right? When you list a piece of property,
Yeah.
you'll do, 400, or
99.99.
yeah, 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 yeah. The reason you do that is because it works. So my
Right.
suggestion to you is lose a penny and go to 3.99 instead of
I
four
know. I
thirty.
like
Get
that.
an extra
I
chunk.
talked to her about that. We're gonna try that, I think.
There's no reason. You're not really losing anything. You only have
No.
uh, influential gain as a result of how our brains work.
Right. Right. Well,
So
thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate it. Nice meeting you in person now.
it was nice seeing you too. And tomorrow we'll yet to see. I haven't gotten the phone call to see if I have a bag of sterling or not.
I'll be
So
there. All
uh,
right. How do I get off? Let me see.
I'll get you here. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Why did it do that? It's not letting me.
Wait, hold on. I think there's a way. I forget. Usually the three dots.
Yeah, I would
Leave.
never. You're leaving.
I think it
Yeah,
says
I can
leave.
never figure out how to do it.
All right. I got it. All right. Have a good day. Thank you so much.
All right. See ya.
Bye. Okay.
There you go. All right. Um, oh, we're at 9:30. I got plenty of time here. I wasn't paying attention to what was going on in the chat. It's no problem. Thank you for coming on. Thanks for coming on. So, I mean, the key takeaways that I want everybody else to take from that conversation is not that she potentially has opportunities that other people don't as far as resources are concerned, because I know that's what's going through tons and tons of people's minds right now. What I want you to understand, you might you might have to well, you won't hear me. You have to go out and come back in again. Maybe you'll switch accounts. Maybe you can read my lips. But is capitalizing on opportunities that present themselves is very key, and then leveraging that for future growth, which means you have to compound it. Don't get scared. My observation was when I talked to them in the chat the day that that happened. I believe what would have been the most beneficial for them would have been to do the next show, telling everybody, "Hey, thanks for all this. Go bookmark this other show, and make sure you're there because our next show, based on this wonderful give back or this appreciation you guys have showed for us having the sterling silver starting at $1, we're going to do it again." So I would highly recommend those opportunities presenting themselves. And like I said, you saw if you were paying attention or listening, the opportunities that present themselves with doing dollar starts as opposed to giveaways when people raid into you. Those are the things that you need to utilize to shortcut your potential success here and whatnot. You can't get that. If you run a giveaway when someone comes in, there is no opportunity presented. Okay, that's the big thing you have to let sink in. There's a magnitude of potential opportunity by running something for $1 that you can capitalize on. A giveaway will never provide that. A giveaway at max will provide a potential customer that will reciprocate, which is not even a reciprocation. It's more of a guilt felt need to give back or provide you with a bid or a buy. And that's a one off. If you capitalize on $1 start, things go good, and you keep selling and you manage to retain a high magnitude of people. And I do want to point something else out. Let me make something abundantly clear. She said that she managed to keep all those people. The truth of the matter of that is she didn't manage to keep all those people. What she did is manage to stay in people's algorithm and discoverability got pushed up as a result of the increased bidding volume, the increased activity as a result of switching to dollar starts and continuing to do dollar starts. And because of that, more people kept coming in because of the placement that she would have had in the algorithmic feeds. She didn't just stop there and nobody knew was coming in. New people were coming in. She just retained a higher room count as a result. So more opportunity that was compounded on top of what was presented. These are the things, again, you need to realize and capitalize on. And then if you notice you had an opportunity that was presented to you, you capitalized on it, saw the success, you need to sit down and evaluate what you can do next. And sometimes you're gonna have to do that in the heat of the moment. And to me, the heat of the moment in that situation would have definitely been we're doing another show, dollar starts, we're setting it up right now, especially if you have two people, someone that could go and do that immediately and start telling people to go check it out right away. Any questions? It's only 9:36. I got time for questions. If you got questions for me about anything I talked about earlier, anything that we were just talking about. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, thrifting. I had no idea. I had no idea if that's you were explaining that to me at one point in time. Thrifting. I did not know that that was the case. All right. I don't have brown boxes right now to do max shipping. I use flat rate at 12.9 shipping. Should I find bigger brown boxes for max selling jewelry? If you're selling jewelry, I wouldn't be using flat rate shipping boxes. I mean, I don't know what kind of jewelry you're selling. That means you're charging a lot for shipping and probably negatively impacting your sales or your own profit margins. I mean, well, I'm confused. What were you doing that you were using 12.99? That you were using flat rate boxes for jewelry? Discoverability has to do with activity. Activity is bidding. Are you going to get more bids with $1 or $3 starts? Let's do the math. Just that's the simplest. Let me put it as simple as possible. There's a million other attributes to dollar starts that can be leveraged. But if you're talking direct leverage value from from the discoverability attribute, what kind of package do I use for jewelry? I use 4x4x4 boxes that you can buy from Uline, or you can buy from WB Mason, or you can find on other sites for a lot of the jewelry. I use bubble mailers for stuff that isn't going to break or lose gemstones as a result. I use 8x8s. I use 4x6s. I use 4x4x6. Very rarely, unless I sell a jewelry box or something like that, do I have to go anything larger. And utilizing flat rate makes no sense because, especially now. But previously, if you were using flat rate, when a majority of your items, if you were selling with a 0 to 1 ounce uh, shipping profile, would have been super cheap for you and or your buyer. And if you're charging your buyer full shipping and they're potentially paying up to 12.99, that's a lot. Now, listen, li- it, listen. As far as box sizes go, I mean, I know the boxes from the post office are free. The question is, are you charging this to your buyer, or are you eating it because you're doing max shipping? I can't give you all the particulars. I don't know your business model. Okay, so you know, the only time I use flat rate boxes if the shipment's over a pound, or when I did use it. Yes, Millicent. I did use penny starts in another platform. No, you use what's needed. Have a diverse collection of boxes. Can you repeat? A good portion of what I sell is high end designer, gold, platinum. Designer items I was talking about, like when somebody mentioned designer stuff, that wasn't jewelry related, Kate. That had for my we were talking about just categories in general. My assumption is the person that asked you the question about that had to do with like clothing and purses and accessories. So what I mentioned about that was not the same as the jewelry. So the clothing, purse, accessories, and stuff they were talking about. My strategy that I was talking to get to dollar starts, the magnitude of successful people do dollar starts, and they were mentioning the designer category. The designer category has the lowest conversion rate. It has the highest growth rate, but super low conversion rate. And I said, draw the parallel between the two. Every other category with large successful sellers, the largest, considered the largest on here, are doing dollar starts and have high conversion rates. So you can do the math. You can just draw that parallel and put two and two together. You're selling jewelry. You're selling jewelry. What pieces of jewelry do you have that weigh 4 to 2 ounces? What jewelry weighs 4 to 2 ounces? I mean, realize your shipping costs from, what is it now? Zoe's Treasures. Anybody here know? You can go look at the metric. We're going to go over this real quick, and then I'm going to get, because we're getting down to shipping and technicals, and I don't like to do that. You need to do your own research on these numbers. You can go see what 0 to 14 or 15 ounces, 1 to 15 ounces cost you. What's 15 ounces cost now on whatnot to do less than 12 by 12 by 12 box? 675. There you go. 675 is going to be your max cost too. So, how many pieces of jewelry can you fit in a 4 by 4 into a box that weighs under that? And then 675 is going to be max. It's going to cost you. Yeah. So, Vineyard Collective, what you need to do, and this is what I'm going to tell you to do. You need to do math. You're running the business. You got to go look at what your average true. Hopefully, you're going and adjusting your shipping. But if you're using flat rate boxes, your average shipping cost is then what, 12.99 right now? Just right. Like right now, you're using flat rate boxes, so your average shipping cost is 12.99. So whatever you shift to is going to be lower. Yeah, yeah. So you just, I mean, even if you use the same ounce, but you don't need to do 0 to 1 ounce. Do 0 to 1 ounce, and you should be fine. Are you charging it? Uh, are you charging your buyers full shipping, or do you have max shipping set? Are you charging your buyers full shipping, or do you have max shipping set for your jewelry? Vineyard. You have to use averages to make your life simple. You're charging full shipping now. How much are you getting charged every time you use a flat rate box? Is it costing you money? Because it's 12. It's what, 12.99 now? What's your average shipping cost now when you go to? I'm confused. I'm confused because if you're using flat rate, you're using flat rate boxes. Yeah, yeah. But that means the buyer would have to be paying for a dollar worth of merchandise. I mean, a pound worth of merchandise, not a dollar, a pound worth of merchandise to get to the right. I'm confused how it's not costing you anything. Like if somebody buys 2 items, you're only charging them 6 ounces worth. Or do you have your thing set up that every sale is flat rate, so they get charged 12.99 for 1, 2, or 3 buys? Yeah, yeah. Vineyard Collect. You're good. You're good. I got you, Vineyard. Don't worry. I'm just trying to understand it. I'm just a little confused. It's going to ground under a pound. So you are okay. I misunderstood. I thought you said you're doing flat rate for everything. That's where I was confused. So you are using plain boxes. Okay. Now, because when you first said it, you said you weren't using brown boxes. Yeah, just you need to just go to ground for everything. Get rid of the flat rate because you're just charging your buyers and you're causing some shipping fatigue with the wallets on your merchandise. So don't set it up to use flat rate boxes. So basically, everything should be ground. You could even keep your percentages, your the way you have it set up would be fine, but I'd turn off flat rate. And I would just, you can go to what's the other? It's 0 to 1, and what's the next one, everybody? 0 to 1, and what's the next one? 1 to 3. Uh, Vineyard, I think you're fine if you want to charge them full shipping. If you're concerned, just do 1 to 3 ounces and don't turn on flat rate because majority of your merchandise is going to go for Zoe and anybody else that knows this number. What's the ground price for? Yeah, 5 pounds is only 7.75. Yeah, this is why I don't talk shipping. But Vineyard's good people, so There's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be afraid of. Make sure you have, several different box sizes, brown boxes. Yeah, Millicent is correct. There's your best bet. Let's do this. Let's do this. Vineyard, go ask these questions to I Love Discounts. They do a weekly shipping show. I Love Discounts. Plug your show. Let everybody know. You go over all the technicals. This is the stuff you help them out with. This is just not. This is not my. My suggestion is always going to be work towards. There you go, Vineyard. And yes, I know it's Vineyard, but Vineyard's what I go with. Um, Go to their show, ask them the question, and they'll be able to help you way better than I can. Spectacular. Good. Everybody here that wants to have more pointed and specific shipping based questions answered, go there. I am not the person. I do free shipping. My goal in my company is to make things not only as easy for my buyers, but as easy for me as possible. And free shipping on the back end on everything makes it way easier. That's why, again, I'm a huge advocate for trying to strive to get to that point. When I say vineyard, yeah, yeah, I know. I know. Exactly what I love discount said. Exactly what I love discount said. All right. I'm still in my phase of not buying. I'm going down on buying. Been trying to thin out the inventory that I have because I have a lot of it that needs to get sold. So, if you have a question for me and I didn't answer it earlier, please ask it and make sure you use a question mark, or I'll think that you're just chatting with people in the chat. Visual real estate, sure, visual real estate. Who here wants to know about visual real estate? It's simple. Visual real estate. I'm going to answer one question at a time. Wait till I get over this. Paid promotions don't do. It's not worth it. Best promotion and best billboard is to go live and sell. All right. Save your money to do cheaper shipping and dollar starts, and don't do giveaways. Use all the money for those type of attributes. And don't forget, everybody, just because I say dollar starts doesn't mean you have to do dollar start show. But if you want to know a strategy on how to do a dollar start show, go back and watch this entire stream on YouTube, because that's what the entire first part of the show was about. Me going over a strategy that you can put into place, how to change your mindset in order to capitalize on opportunity with dollar starts. So, visual real estate. Does anybody know what I'm talking about when I say visual real estate? Some people here do, some people don't. Yes, no, yes. Very important. It's very, very, very important you understand this principle. First thing first, are all phones created equal? Are all screens created equal? And is everybody looking at a screen with the same size, type, font, coloration, all that? Is everybody looking at the same exact thing? Absolutely not. People do not have the same size screen, do not have the same size font. My eyes are bad. I make the font large. I make everything larger so I can see it better. Okay. So what that does is it reduces visual real estate. Also, on that note, to everybody, make sure you realize when you make the titles of your show, there's no way to see them for the most part to catch people's eyes. And I know people do because they think it helps the search engine SEO, but don't forget, SEO is not what we're after. We're after discoverability, which is a form of that, but the most effective form of that is activity. Oh, yes. Sorry, Zoe's Mod. I got to bring the tickets in. You're correct, which I don't think there's too many left. Yeah, this is about all I got. They should be in there now. The PA meetup tickets, I think I only have like 3 left. There might be 1 or 2 back, but I think those are already spoken for. So, everybody, again, back to the little side thing I was talking about, your title on your show. If you want to catch people, actually read those. Make sure the most important thing that you have to say about your show is at the beginning, because depending on how their font settings and their phone settings are, they're not going to see all of it. That's why I keep mine at like 4 words. Okay. So we're gonna flip here and I'm gonna show you about visual real estate. All right. If you can't do this, do your best to find out how to do this. Hold on 1 second. It's weird. Can everybody see the pens at the ends of at the end of the screen? These pens. Can everyone see that? I just provided you with a ridiculous amount of value. Now, did you see that, everybody? I put this in here for reference. This is what you have to understand. Okay? I'll put this in so you can see where it is in reference to your chat. There's nothing pinned, and now I pin it. What happened? What happened to the chat? Anybody? Chat went above the screw. Actually, let's put it back to where it was. It was right about there. Now, watch this. Thank you for purchasing. Now, what happened? No, the chat went up. Now, what happens? Did anybody get a double chat up? Did this go to two lines? Did that go to 2 lines for some of you? This is an example. See the people that are saying yes? You have to be conscious of the reality that people show that what they're watching is not the same. Yeah, and if you do you want people swiping the chat away? Do you want people leaving in order to bid? No, you don't. So I showed you two things. I showed you how you create more visual real estate. The more visual real estate you have, the better. Yes, and if I did a flash sale, it would be you would see nothing. If I posted a flash sale, okay? So, now watch this. Watch this. Now, what's at the top of your screen? Do you see the show notes? Yes, the chat's part of the experience. So let's do this, everybody. Check this out. So we're back to here. You have show notes, and then now everybody has that other little box, right? That says, watch this or more stuff to be had that does nothing, right? Right. So now I have an item post pinned. And then you have a mod come in and give you a description, right? Come in and give you a description. And you pin down at the bottom. Announce. Blah, blah, blah. No. Blah, 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 blah. Da, 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 dun, 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 dun. Hold on. All right. Now, how much space do I have to show you merchandise? It's like right here for some people. Some people might be down here. Some people maybe like way up here. First, get a phone that you can turn on all the features that allow you to expand, or a tablet if you have one. Hold on. Here, I'll show you. Somebody was kind enough to send me. Yeah. The second one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So first you need to get this. You have to have point 0.5 zoom. Okay. You need to have point 0.5 zoom. See what happens actually on a multitude of ranges. So we already talked about the chat being negative. Let's put that up as high as we possibly can towards the top. This down towards the bottom. Do you guys see how much more real estate you have now? How much more merchandise you can get in the screen? Okay, that's 0.5 zoom. Okay, all right. You need to be able to do that. Then the rest you need to be consciously aware of what's happening when you post notes, what not did. This is what someone's screen looks like when it's minimized. Make a purchase, show notes, a mod posting information, you having an item down here at the bottom. You have, and that can be even worse. Sure. Give me a second. Now let's see here. I'm curious. I've never actually done this. So let's do this. That's where my thing is. So you get a little bit more real estate as a result of smaller titles. The bigger the titles, the more information you put in, the longer it gets, the more visual real estate you take up. Hold on. I see the topic of visual real estate is boring. Yes, Zoe's mod. There's only 2 tickets left for the meetup. So as far as the phone stand goes, let me show you. This is my setup. I have one of these. I have an iPhone, not the most recent, but the second, the last one. Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you what's happening. There's people that don't like to hear what I'm saying and showing what I have to say about this, and so they leave. There's a lot of people that it's hard to understand and be like, oh, I want to do all this stuff, but if I watch this, it's going to show that it's not the most effective way of doing things, and they don't like to hear it. Just still here. Yeah, phone case. I don't if I'm streaming and I turn on all those extra features, it heats up the phone. So I don't use a phone case. For when these chats, I'm using our secondary phone as a phone case. The secondary phone we have is for shipping needs and stuff. Yeah, yeah. So, and if you knew, I think the newest iPhone, I know they're, I obviously know it's not cheap, but I know the newest iPhone has that like cooling thing that they didn't they put something in that helps keep it cool. Like they put some extra feature in. So yeah, I'm interested. Anyway, yeah, vapor chamber. Yeah, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I read something about that. That piqued my interest in deciding I might, like I don't need to. I have two of the other phones right now. I'm gonna get a little more use out of them before I go to that. If the heating up attribute drives me nuts enough, then maybe I'll switch over. It doesn't work that great. Okay. Oh, the battery drain is quick. Wow. Millicent's going for a record of heating up the show. All right. Any other questions? I still got time for a few more questions if anybody wants to ask. If we don't have any other questions, um, we'll just call it a morning. New iPhone is coming with new aperture camera feature. Yeah, the nice thing is, as live streaming, uh, and it will gets more integrated in day to day activities on for marketing, for selling, for like I told you, the X-commerce is going to be heavily reliant and will be expanded upon beyond platforms like this in other selling avenues where this will be something that is highly needed, meaning that they'll start changing the technology and the hardware to compensate for all the overheating. Uh, how how do you utilize sudden death versus not sudden death? What's the psychology behind it? Well, sudden death can be utilized in a multitude of ways. Sudden death can take you out of a funk. Sudden death can, meaning like if you're in a let's say you're selling and things are getting bid up very slowly, you can change the atmosphere. You can also basically create a change in people's mindsets by quickly altering. It takes trying to think of the best way to articulate this. Any type of environmental influence you're feeling with something that breaks that suddenly helps create a new anchor in the middle of an already pre-existing anchored show. There was something else I wanted to go over, darn it, but we'll save it for another day. This reminded me of that. Um, so it can be utilized in that fashion. So if things are going slow and you're not getting the money you're looking for, and you observe it because people got into um, a mindset of lower prices. Here, let's actually talk about that. People left, so we'll go to something. Where is it at? Okay, here we go. All right, it's a principle, it's a behavioral principle. It's called a reference point adaptation. Okay, all right. I don't pick sudden death based on items. Listen, let's just go over one other thing here. I'm not as very item centric. Okay. Do the items influence me and the environment and stuff? Yes. But my core principle, and I actually have gotten stickers made now that are on their way for me to put, that says it's about it's the experience, stupid, meaning me, to reframe my brain every time I start allowing the static principles, the valuations behind stuff to start influence my judgment, my decision, my mood, my atmosphere that I'm creating, to draw it back to what's ultimately the most important part of making money in live selling. Okay. Room count, all that. Unpin it. You mean repin it? Oh, I didn't know it was still there. Well, I'll repin the other thing. So reference point adaptation not is a situation where once there's a reference point created, okay, people adapt to it, get used to it. Okay, there's also what's called hedonic adaptation. One has to do with the emotional state. That's hedonic adaptation, where you create a new baseline based on your emotional state of, like, let's say you get a new job and you're making more money, you're happy about it, that becomes a new norm. That's hedonic adaptation. Reference point adaptation has more to do with the physicality attributes of things and how you respond to them. Meaning, like, you do, let's say you start off with a show and for some reason things are going slow. You're selling things that you normally would get, 20 or $30 for, and they're selling for, 10 and 15. Okay. That becomes the reference point then. Like, if it happens several times over, and then you re-solidify that by getting frustrated with it and trying to encourage people, and then you get aspects like bitter resistance going, where they will be like, you're not going to try to influence me to spend more. We've established this now. All right, you're the seller, but I'm going to stay in control. You're not going to change my mind, and we're going to actually bid less to show you don't know what you're talking about. And yes, this is an actual principle that happens, that has been observed and noticed in auction theory, as far as the bidder resistance. So it becomes a self-fulfilling downward spiral. What I'm saying, and the reason I'm going on this with sudden death, one of the ways you get out of the reference point adaptation is changing the way in which the reference is accounted for. So if you're doing 10 seconds with a reset, or like 5 seconds with a reset of 5 seconds, that is part of the reference. So you're doing 5 seconds, 5 seconds, dollar starts. They decided that X amount was worth X amount, and that's what it's going to be. So if you have a sterling pin, no matter what you bring, it's going to have that association and bring that same kind of valuation that you weren't looking for, but are getting, because that's the new adapted value point based on what's going on in the moment. So you can change the moment. You can leverage sudden death to change the moment. Okay. So when I talk about this stuff, I'm not talking about it from this, numerical strategy. I'm talking about how to utilize these as tools to get back on the right track. And who here has watched me switch to sudden death, and then I switch back. And you notice that the entire dynamic of the show has changed as a result of me doing that. Who here see me do that? Sometimes you get the results you want, sometimes you don't. But if you don't get the results you want, then you got to look further to see if some other thing you could exercise to change it. Sometimes it's changing the product lineup with the sudden death. Sometimes it's just changing the product lineup. Sometimes it's changing the sudden death. But sudden death is a great tool. Okay. Great tool to change or reframe that reference adaptation. It is spectacular for that. Changes the mindset. Your brain immediately breaks the comfort zone that it has gotten into because you have now a heightened emotional state of like, okay, now I got to pay attention. Shortcutting what has been established already in the brain. Does that make sense? Yeah. And Kate, instead of ending the show suddenly, right? And you need to do something like this. Now, I understand if you're employing all these and none of it's working, and sometimes it's just really digging down deep. Is it something going on with you? And you can't break the cycle, you know, and you can end the show, but that is like the bottom line last resort. You don't want to do that unless you see you got yourself in a really bad spot. And I've been there. That's happened to me. There was a show the other year where I was just in a bad state. I was really irritated. I was mad, and then a troll came in and just put me over the top. And I was like, "Troll wins. I'm done." Some of you guys may remember that. I was like, "The troll wins today. I'm out. I'll see you guys tomorrow." Not the best thing, but I just knew it wasn't. I wasn't bringing it back from that. Yeah, that was a yeah, remember that, Kate? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was not I was super it was just a bad it was I was just in a bad spot. I'm human. It happens. Nobody's perfect, right? So, what should max auction ever be? 10 to 15 seconds? No, no, no. There is no max. There's no perfect. There is no ideal recipe. That's what I'm trying to tell you. All of this is fluid. Okay. If there was an ideal number, if there was an ideal start price, if there was an ideal auction time, if there was an ideal day, if there none of that, everybody would be doing the exact same thing and it'd be easy because there's enough of people on here that you would have been able to pick up on the pattern if there was one. It's not. We're dealing with live selling that involves people's emotions, people's states of mind, experiences that can be created for the good or the for the good or bad. Okay, all that has to be balanced. All that has to be either capitalized on or swayed or switched if it's negative. And that is what you're dealing with. This is why people have such a hard time grasping the solution to this. Because again, this is not a Ron Popeil set it and forget it style selling platform. It is not the same. The other thing that you have to understand is all kinds of things go out the window. And I myself am realizing this as time goes on. I was just discussing this with Bill. Bill brought it up, and it's an interesting point, which is to the point that this is a different type of business. It's never been available to people in general, let alone the general populace. Okay, businesses in general didn't have an opportunity to do experiential based selling styles. It has just come in the last, several years, less than 10 years essentially. And that was people trying to make it happen before there was a platform for it. Now it went, kind of like a shot of steroids once apps like this started coming around. Even principles like FIFO in business, first in, first out inventory systems, you have to now start taking account for the other elements of creating an experience. And that experience sometimes is you as a seller creating it. So, what type of experience are you going to create with dry, old inventory in comparison to new inventory? And if there's an opportunity of timing where you can utilize inventory that just came in as opposed to old inventory that is stale in your mind and you're not going to be as enthused about it to capitalize on that. So you have to witness when the opportunity to capitalize on it is. Don't stop yourself from taking advantage of that because that's where the real profit's going to be for you. So that creates an entirely different attitude and perspective you need to take on every facet of a business model. I'm just now starting to realize this. And how do you incorporate that? I don't have the answer for it, but the answer is starting to realize that that's the fact and that's the case and start working on systems and designs that would help you, one, deal with those situations that you can capitalize on profit, but then also make sure you understand that it is going to create a potential stale inventory system and how you're going to address that and deal with it, and how you're going to figure out ways to capitalize on opportunities present themselves to then get rid of that merchandise when the opportunity arises. Does everyone understand what I just said? That is actually really, really important. And I think it just like this selling platform cannot you cannot draw and bring in all these static listing principles to this. A lot of potential business standard practices are able to be shifted to be better capitalized on. And what will that look like in the future? I have no idea. But knowing that the opportunity is there to maximize value, it's not like an inventory where you do the first in, first out, where, okay, we have a standard base price point that we then can just list it on these platforms that will sell. And then we run an ad or something like that to increase and get rid of stale inventory. That is not the way this works. Like getting rid of the stale inventory systems, maybe have event based sales or replace you with somebody else to sell so the items feel more genuine and new and the excitement can be there to leverage the value that is here to be had, where that's not the case with standard inventorying systems and selling practices on static platforms. You got it? Everyone understands? Or is everybody like, I don't understand what the heck you're talking about, Jeremy. I should have asked if everyone knows what FIFO is. Okay, where'd the chat go? Please make sure you understand I am not advocating that you just sell all the first merchandise that comes in and let everything else get stale. What I'm saying is rethink it. You need and have the opportunity to think about things in a more divergent perspective than pre-existing modeled inventory and selling styles, selling strategies. There's just so much to it, and I think that unfortunately is not realized to the extent that it could be. So yeah, I'm on a buying freeze because I have a lot of inventory, and yes, I got stuff that needs to get out the door. So yeah, and the buying freeze isn't long enough. I've also, whenever I go on buying freeze, it seems to overlap with uh, other situations. Like I have several employees out this week coming up, which means it makes it harder for me to get rid of volume because I don't have the support structure in order to get it, to meet my expectations for delivery and fulfillment. Hey, morning. Hey, good morning, Lady Z. Man, you're late. I'm getting ready to head out. No, that doesn't happen to me. Every time I stop buying better deals show up, that doesn't happen. Uh, so higher more than 5 pounds. No, not too often. I mean, that's a lot of jewelry to hit 5 pounds. That's a lot of jewelry. So yeah, most of my sources right now kind of just hold on to this stuff. They'll sell it if somebody else comes along to buy it. You're tripping over self sell it to you. Okay, I think it's time to get rolling. Make sure if you're interested, the PA meetup. It will be, it's down there. You can buy one right now. I'll also have the last, I think two. I'll double check, but I'm pretty certain. Oh, BC, thank you for the tip. Make sure, I just want to make sure everybody understands that anytime I get tipped, all the tip money goes towards my employees, me, nor Shane as a business owners take any of the tip money. At the end of the year, the entire team, because it takes the team to make this happen, goes to all the money goes to them as bonuses. New shirt? Yeah, that's the new oopsie card. So, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We've been doing that now for a while. Yeah, yeah, it's just the easiest thing to do with tips. No reason for us to keep it. So, and like I said, they're the behind the scenes. You guys don't know, but they are definitely part of the entire machine to make everything happen. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, I don't know. I mean, that's depends on your personality. I couldn't tell you that. As far as flying in, is it better to stay near venue or near downtown area? I don't know, personally, the distance between the two, where you'd be staying. I mean, I don't know what you want to do, how long you're going to be staying. Things are, it's a little dreary out. I think it was raining and stuff. So Kate, I would just do a little research and plan your trip accordingly. I mean, you'll be able to find places, see what downtown's like. If there's anything you want to do that would, make it better for you to be somewhere in between or close to downtown. And, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. There's some feedback from I Love Discounts based on their experience and going to other meetups. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, it depends on how much driving around you want to do, how much time you want to spend where, how long you're going to be here. If you're staying for, a weekend, coming in a day early, that would be all the stuff I would be out looking at. But what's the best amount of time to spend running a show? I always like to think 2 hours at least. But that's me personally, and based on my own personal observation over the years. Things could have changed, but now I have an ingrained time frame. And also, your buyers start understanding how long you like to run. So, if you only want to run an hour, then just do hour shows and see if you find a buyer base that likes that. But to me, sometimes it takes about 30 minutes or so for people to get settled in, to get their original buys in, open up the wallets, purses, and start spending a little more as the show progresses. And then also gives me time to get a pulse of the show, get the pace of the show going, any other adjustments I need to make along the way to really hit the mid time frame of a show. And that middle sweet spot's where most of the things happen anyway. uh, so but That's my perspective. And in order to do all that and evaluate all that and adjust accordingly requires more than an hour for me. Do I adjust product? No, 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 I don't adjust product. You just, again, I'm highly observational, observe the environment that's going on, and that's why I like having a bunch of different product out there for me to adjust, because you don't know, you have no idea. I could be feeling exceptionally well. Who's been in shows where at the beginning of my show I have tons of energy, and then other times I don't have energy, and then I get energy as the show progresses depending on how things are going. And then sometimes I have a ton of energy and kick off the show and things are going great right out of the gate, and then I can pick up inventory that I have out in front of me based on a plethora of different environmental and experiential situations. And this is the thing there again, people, you need to stop associating this type of selling with static attributes. Okay, how many hours should I run, what time of day? I said this earlier. What type of bidding style, like, is it all about this, is it all about that, like those specifics? There is no magic formula to technicals on this. Okay, there's some that work better for you, some that work better for the crowd. There's some that can they be utilized as tools. Some things, in my opinion, are essential, and other people are not essential. So on and so forth. But defining factor of success on here eventually when all the dust settles with all that stuff is the experience that you create. Okay? That's what you have to sink in. And that is fluid. That changes literally from second to second. That changes from your mood. That changes with whether you had a good breakfast or not. That changes if you had a good night's sleep. That changes if people that are walking around you where you sell. That changes with different people that come in and say things that set the mood and how you respond to it. It changes with the product you have out and how you react to the product, depending on what the bid increment, not increments, but the bid valuations are achieved. All of that is what determines your success on here. All of that, how you create that, and how you either leverage it or are affected by it, positive or negative. Okay. With that said, I'm going to get going. Oh, who do we got? Who do we got? I don't know who this is. We're going to pick somebody at random. They're in everything else. It's somebody's birthday. Go say happy birthday, everybody. If they're awesome, give me all the credit. If you don't like them, don't blame me. Well, no, that's not true. I picked them randomly, so you can blame me. Go ahead. You can blame me. It's my fault. So go say hi. Or you don't even have to say hi. You get to say happy birthday. I'm not familiar with them. So until next time, everybody, happy bidding. I look forward to seeing you there.